in Solana Beach. I was here as a kid and basically lived here until about age 18 when went off to college uh, and would come back during summers and weekends. And my lifeguard experience would be uh, between the time of being 18 and the next on and off for the next 10 years or so. And then eventually I became a teacher, and I taught in Big Bear for a year. And then after that, taught a few years at UCLA, and I was a student at UCLA also. And then after that, I did spend a year in Mexico. And then my main teaching career was between 1960 and the year basically 2000, 2001. Did some night school teaching even after that. Main teaching career was altogether about 50 years, and most of it was Spanish and a lot of ESL, English, as the second language. My lifeguard experience would be I also lifeguarded in Malibu because we, at a certain point, when I say we, my wife and I moved to Malibu, Zuma Beach area, and at our beach club we had seasonal lifeguards, and I was a lifeguard there pretty much from the time I was trying to think how old, probably around 30 years old until I was almost 60. But it would be during periods of time of summer. San Diego Lifeguards was between 1955 and 1962 and 63. Okay. So but I did a lot of lifeguarding after that, but that was in Malibu area. So as far as Solana Beach Historical Society would be the lifeguard situation here in San Diego County, because I guarded at different beaches. I guarded at Solana Beach, Fletcher Cove, and then Tide Park, and I also guarded Cardiff. We had a lifeguard tower in Cardiff, and also Encinitas, Moonlight Beach, and also there was a place, can't think of the name, La Costa, up by where Legoland is today. That was La Costa. That was basically the furthest north in San Diego County where I guarded, and then also guarded Del Mar. We had there was a pier, Del Mar Pier at 15th Street, with a lifeguard tower on the pier. So those are the main places where I lifeguarded in San Diego County. And during the years I was guarding, made a number of rescues. I have no idea how many. We made several rescues at non-guarded beaches where we were called to. We got to in the car. We drove to get to the place where we had to make a rescue. It was in 1960. I think it was, the actual date was April 10th. Pretty sure it was April 10th of 1960. It was a Sunday. I remember that one for several different reasons, because that one, the whole year, 1959, 1960, I spent that year, most of that year, in Mexico studying Spanish. But in April was spring break, and I happened to be in Solana Beach that week, and I wasn't lifeguarding that day either. I happened to be at the beach at Fletcher Cove. I happened to be there, and it was a nice day. And well, I think Knox Harris and Jim Lathers were there, and we got a call that there was a problem at Seaside. So we got in the car and we drove on the highway to get there, not on the beach, but on the highway. And once we got there, I was told that there was well, there was a boy, Mexican boy, about 10 years old, that was washed out in a riptide out in the water, and two, I guess, Marines went in to try to save him, and all three of them were in trouble. That was the situation. And the first thing is that I was told that we got the two Marines out of the water, and then told that there was a boy still out there. So I just kind of blindly went out in the water and swam out. And when I got out to where the no more waves, I saw a body just kind of floating there at the top of the water, kind of like this, and went over there, and well, he was obviously alive, and then started bringing him in, and then basically Knox Harris and Jim Lathers appeared also by that time. So there were three of us, and got the boy into the beach, and he turned out to be okay. We did not need anything more. And the end of that story is the fact that several days later, I guess the mother's, maybe the next day, I don't know, the mother came into my dad's store and mentioned something about that, about the whole situation. And my dad and mom told me later that about where the boy lived and everything. Anyway, a couple of days later, I drove over to the house and actually was invited in there and met the boy and his mother.